Hi, my name is Kristina. I'm the founder of Etalon. We make amazing posture bras. And today I'm speaking with Ashley Staten.
Hi, I'm Ashley Stachin. I'm the founder and director of Meta Mama Yoga, which is associated with Meta Yoga Studios in San Rafael, California.
And from my personal experience, I want to say that's the best place for prenatal and postnatal women like me in Marin County. Ashley, could you please tell us what are the most common posture and alignment issues in pregnancy?
Yes, so it actually boils down to sort of a very generalized, I can apply these common challenges that pregnant women might have pretty much across the board. Obviously, if you're having a medical issue or um, something in pregnancy that is beyond the normal scope, um, yoga teachers are not medical doctors, but uh, sort of if you're running it down the line of the body, um, starting from early pregnancy, and maybe some of these get a little bit more chronic as you go on because of the extra weight. But hunching forward, the weight of baby pulling forward can contribute to closing off the nerve channels here. Rounding into the upper back can contribute to weakness in that sort of mid part of your spine, back area. Uh, Shortening through the side body. It can all contribute, especially when there's extra baby weight, to weaken glutes, which can cause low back pain, hip discomfort, um, hamstrings, psoas, sort of these muscles that support the pelvic bowl, the pelvic area, can get shortened and tightened because of the relaxin in the pelvic bowl, the joints, the ligaments. Not and relaxin is not just concentrated to your pelvis; it's all through your body. It's a hormone that allows your joints to relax, become a little bit more uh, supple, spacious, I guess you could. And again, I'm not a doctor, so these are not medical terms, but just to give you a general idea, if you want to push baby out, you're going to need the bones to be able to move apart slightly. And so the relaxin basically just expands the joints a little bit. But that instability can add to pain in hips and back. And the muscles sort of around that structure can tighten up to overcompensate. uh, you can get a tightness in your pelvic floor, especially if the glutes are weak because the pelvic floor tries to overcompensate. And then just moving down the core complex chain, your feet, with the extra weight, your arches flatten out, and the arch is the beginning of that core complex chain. So that can cause discomfort throughout the body as well.
For sure. I feel like, I was lucky enough to have you in my life and know
Tell
all of
you way too
this.
many things about your body that you
Know
never
all
knew
of,
you wanted to know.
yeah, know about some of these issues. And from my personal experience, so I'm pregnant, I'm 38 weeks pregnant, 2 more weeks to go. I definitely decided to be proactive in terms of all these issues. And with feet, I knew about flat feet issue. So I try to keep my arches up during my yoga practice. I try to wear shoes with arch support. That definitely helped me. With pelvis, it was a little harder because, there's so much going on here. And I developed some pain in my left buttock, but I feel like movement, like your classes and just going on a hike really helped me to kind of like loosen it up a little bit. I think it was related to baby being in like some sort of like his own position and moving help him kind of centralize. So
And that all does play into it. I mean, everyone's body is different. Everyone is at a different stage of pregnancy in a class, and then it depends on where they are in pregnancy and what's going on in their body. And even if you want to boil it down to, the alignment, the muscles, the bones, each person's uterus is slightly in a different position. Each baby's in a slightly different position. We favor one side or the other, so this all comes into play. Which is one of the reasons I like teaching prenatal yoga, because there's so many facets and components to our body we don't know about. And yet there's so many ways to align it, keep it uh, strong, keep it supple, create space when you're pregnant. The more you know, the more you can figure out the support you need and just sort of become a little bit more empowered about this crazy transformation that's happening to you.
And my personal experience with, some of these issues, I was fortunate to have met you early in my pregnancy, and to have this knowledge of what can happen in my body. And I was definitely proactive. I took care of my arches. I was really intentional about like keeping the arches up, having shoes with arch support. Then with pelvis, it was a little more challenging because things can just happen, and baby can be in the position, on one side of the body versus the other. So I did
where your
develop.
uterus is setting. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
uniqueness of everyone. I always talk about I'm here as a yoga teacher to guide you, but the goal is to tune into where you are on the mat today, because you're the only one who really knows how you're feeling in the body.
for sure, for sure. So here with the pelvis area, I felt like tension and pain in my left side, and you recommended me not to sit cross-legged, which I'm doing now because I no longer have these issues.
It's that external rotation.
Yeah, no external rotation. Virasana, like legs parallel, that was really helpful. And generally speaking, movement helped me a lot. Hiking, taking your classes, and I feel like moving the pelvis help baby to kind of like centralize, come to like a good position, and I no longer feel the pain. So that's why I can sit like this finally, because I love this position.
So prenatal yoga works?
It does work. It does work.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the goals of my prenatal philosophy, and one of the goals of my class that I hope everyone walks out of here feeling is more spacious in their mind and their body and their soul, if that's what they're tuning into. And proper fetal positioning, which is a direct correlation to proper pelvic alignment. So I think that's one of the things that isn't talked about enough, made aware of before you get pregnant. Like if you've been a yogi in the yoga community, and you're in vinyasa class and it still feels good in your body, there's no reason not to do it. But you might pepper in some prenatal classes, because that proper pelvic alignment, which can get a little skewed with the relaxed and a little skewed with tight muscles, gripping of the pelvic floor with glute weakness. If you don't have optimal pelvic alignment, you don't have optimal fetal positioning for birth. So we're really not only trying to relieve discomfort in the body throughout pregnancy, but we're trying to support your body, make it as strong as possible, as spacious as possible, so that your labor is smooth.
For sure. And I think there's something about the strength that you can build during prenatal classes and prior. So for all the women who watch us and who are planning, to get pregnant, I think working on the core complex is very, very important thing that I can take away from my experience. Um, I have background in Pilates, yoga, and both helped me to build out the strength here. And
underneath baby.
Yeah, underneath baby. And fortunately, I haven't developed like lower back issues, and I definitely contribute like the yoga practice and Pilates practice. These are the big factors that help me avoid lower back issues. And for upper back, for sure, doing what I do with Etalon, I've been wearing Etalon posture bra for almost every day for several hours, ranging from several hours to like sometimes the whole day, and taking a break the next day. And can definitely say it helped me tremendously. It also inspired me to start thinking about maternity products in the future. So stay tuned for that. And the overarching thing, talking about these components as I talk, but then the overarching thing, movement still, like everything, like coming to your classes, going on a hike, even though sometimes I felt like very low energy and I couldn't force myself to do things. All I wanted to do is be on the couch, like switching that mindset, reminding that I'm an active woman.
Yeah. I mean, I always like to tell myself and students, if they're open and receptive, like you will never regret movement. It might be a really hard space to get to when you're sick, tired, sore, but after you work out or walk, or even just like maybe some kriyas or something for a couple minutes, once it's done, you're not going to say, I can't believe I did that. That was such a waste of time.
Mhm.
You will always be glad you got there. You just have to mentally meet yourself where you are to get over that hump.
For sure, I can't agree more. So for all of us busy women, like I am, I'm still working, even though like I'm 38 weeks pregnant. Maybe I should take some maternity leave, but I'm an entrepreneur and it's just, I love what I do. So still busy in my life. And, I know you have a lot of busy women who come to your classes. Some of them might have kids, busy schedules with kids or careers. Um, what do you recommend for women like us when they don't have much time for themselves? Um, any particular asanas, like let's say several asanas that can help them feel better?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly asanas we can do. We'll demonstrate them. But I do want to say that part of the journey, this transformation into motherhood, this 9+ month journey, I honestly believe the reason it is such a chunk of time, not just obviously to create the baby, because that's what it takes to create a human, but it also gives you the time to process everything that's going on, because you're going through this transformation of becoming a mother, and it's not an overnight blinking of the eye. Everything in your life has shifted. And part of that is coming from the busy lifestyle, the, entrepreneur, the working, most of us, women, especially in this area, are having kids a little later and they are accomplished and they get things done and they've done lots of things over their lives. And it's really hard to learn how to slow down, take a breath, and then create spaciousness in your life to accept that a workout, quote unquote, or like something that will make you feel good, the movement, or a couple asanas, excuse me, can be 5 minutes here, can be 10 minutes here. It doesn't have to be a whole hour commitment. And that takes practice to mentally get to.
Yeah, I think it's good practice for parenting, being good enough, right? Not like trying to be perfect, but then even if you can't take the whole hour for a yoga practice, even like 5 minutes can make a big difference.
Because you will have even less time once you're a parent.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in habits and designing habits, even if it's like 5 minutes a day. Like it can make a profound difference in a couple months. So.
Yeah. And then we can show you guys some asanas that will help support you, that you can do here and there throughout the day, sort of pepper it in. All right, so we're going to do a couple poses. If we only had a couple minutes, busy, running from place to place, we can still drop in. We can still take a moment and do some self-care for ourselves, hopefully create a little spaciousness in our body. These poses will probably not be held as long as we normally would in a longer class, but you can still get a benefit from a pose just with a couple breaths. These poses will sort of go over the main parts of opening the body, lengthening and strengthening that we talked about earlier. We'll start on hands and knees. Let's place our knees about hips width apart on the blanket. Wrists are going to be parallel to the front of the mat. You're going to stack the shoulders over the wrist. Fingers are going to be really wide here. You're rooting down into the knuckles of all 10 fingers. And we'll just start with a little bit of tail wagging, tail circles. So moving your hips around in a circle, allowing some fluidity in your body, starting to invite spaciousness into the back body, the hips, and then just very gently switching directions and starting to tune in and observe where you are in your body. So there's no judgment in any of these poses. If you're tight, if you're loose, if one side feels stuck and the other side doesn't, we're just practicing the art of observation. And then starting to make the circles a little bit smaller. Take a deep inhale with a still spine, and then exhale, find child's pose. The glutes melt down over the heels. Knees are going to be wide apart. Arms are going to be extended. Connect the forehead to the earth. for a grounded quality here. Take a deep inhale, feel the extension, and then exhale if you have the availability, open mouth. Just letting the body start to settle and soften. Walk both hands over to the right in child's pose. Left hand, left palm on top of the right. And if you are in this posture and belly feels like it's on spaciousness, you can place a block underneath the forehead to give you a little bit more height. And then walk both hands back through center. Exhale over towards the left. This time the right palm comes on top of the left. And what we're doing here is lengthening through the side body, the intercostal muscles down all the way to our hips. The intercostal muscles are in between the ribs. We're just starting to invite spaciousness into our body. Walk back to center, palms forward, staying in child's pose for a breath, and then see if you can invite breath into the 360 degrees of our lungs. So invite breath into the back body and the side body. These places can get sticky and there can be weakness in there because of the hunching over. So we're just trying to open up physically, energetically, space for breath, especially if you're farther along in pregnancy. You might feel like you don't have a lot of space in the lungs as the intestines move up, the diaphragm moves up. So start to connect with that 360 degrees of your lung. And then on your next inhale, you're going to walk the hands back towards your knees. We're going to take the blocks. Blocks are super essential, all the support as you can get during pregnancy. And then we're going to come to a lunge. So you're going to use the blocks for support as you transition the right foot forward. The right knee is stacking over the right ankle. And then to engage this alignment, you're isometrically sort of dragging this right heel back and the left knee forward, starting to strengthen the legs, the adductors, the glutes. And then on an inhale, arms are going to come overhead. Just take a breath or two here, feeling the foundation, the rooting down, the support. Your arms are lifted, the fingers are energetically up towards the ceiling, but make sure that you're not gripping in the shoulders. So relax the arm bones down into the shoulder socket. This is your inhale. On an exhale, goalpost arms, 90-degree angle, hugging those low shoulder blades together, building some strength in this the mid back, and also opening through the front body at the same time. We're just going to do this once for this video, but you would do it probably next inhale, arms come overhead. You would do it probably 2 or 3 times. We're going to move on. Hands are going to come down to the blocks. And then you're going to walk the blocks closer to the blanket so you can get some space in the front body and start to straighten through this front leg, the right leg, come to the heel of that right leg, flex the right foot, and then lifting the heart up, the tall spine, front body. If the joint underneath the knee feels a little pulley, then you bend the knee just a little bit to protect that joint. On an inhale, you're lengthening through the side body, through the spine, through the front body. And then exhale, you fold forward, leading with the heart, hinging at the hips. Again, you don't have to go deep in this posture. You're just trying to get that length in the hamstring. Take a couple breaths here. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. If you only have a couple minutes, I would suggest a lot of the exhales are open mouth to really release whatever has already happened that day. And then on your next inhale, you're lengthening up again, creating length in the spine. Yeah, great. And then walk the right block to the middle or the inside of that right foot. And this is called lizard pose. You're going to use the blocks to gauge how much pressure is in the pelvis before you come forward and just collapse into these joints down here. So you can walk the right foot up to the front towards the mat and then over to the right. Whatever kind of spaciousness feels okay in your body, and you're using the blocks to sort of gauge where you are in your pelvic bowl in the joints before you actually sort of relax into this pose. So you can find, the relaxation part of the pose. Let the head hang. Again, anytime you bring your head below your heart, you calm your central nervous system. And then you can even shake the head yes, shake the head no. And part of the journey into motherhood is the mental aspect. And so see if you can imagine here, just the crown of your head opening, things, thoughts, emotions, feelings, energy that's no longer serving you, patterns just pouring out of the crown of your head. Women can hold a lot of emotion in their hips, so this is a beautiful pose to combine a release mentally with a release physically. And then to safely come out of it the way we came in, so we're walking back up to our palms. We can even walk the blocks back up to full height. And then we're going to heel toe that right foot back, bring the right knee to meet the left, and just sit back and down, let everything sort of come back to neutral. And then we're going to stand up at the front of the mat. And again, you would do these lunge poses on the other side. Just for the sake of this video, we're only doing one side. Standing at the top of the mat facing me. And we can actually demonstrate using this block, placing the block in between the thighs. Rooting down through the feet. And again, the idea of starting to build the core complex from the bottom up, the arches, sort of isometrically, which just means gripping the mat a little bit with the toes to engage the arch, and then feel the hugging into the block, the turning onto the adductors, the slight lift of the pelvic floor, and feel this solid foundation here. What this does is lower the tailbone just slightly so you don't have compression in the low back. And then as we're doing some side bends, you have the freedom to actually lengthen through the side of the body instead of compressing the low back. So with this engagement of the legs, we're on an inhale, bringing the arms out and over to the side. And then take the right wrist and the left hand, reach up and over towards the left. So hopefully you don't have compression in the back. If you do, you're just not going as deep. There's always modifications you can make. You just want to make sure that you're sort of like a rainbow up and over. Take a deep inhale, deep exhale. Inhale, tall spine, release the grip and switch it. So the right wrist takes the left one and reaches up and over. And a breath or two here. Inhale, tall spine, release the grip. You can take the block out from in between the thighs. And then you can take the left hand energetically towards the earth. Right hand wraps behind you. You're grabbing the left bicep. And then you're just very gently allowing that right ear to tip down towards the right shoulder. And you want to make sure when you come to this position that you're not sticking the belly out, opening the ribs even more. So the idea here is to sort of sew the low ribs together and imagine you're stacking the shoulders over the ribs, over the hips. You're just not jutting forward, compressing into the low back. And then you can turn your chin towards that right armpit and start to get a little bit more stretch in a slightly different part of your neck. This is especially good if you sit at a desk all day because the neck gets really tight. This can be nice for when you wake up in the morning because you might have been crunching up like this. So you're just opening, inviting spaciousness into your neck. And then as you release the arm and just really gently roll the chin along the collarbone, looking over the right shoulder then the left. And then roll the shoulders. And it can be as simple as that. That can be a really quick way, obviously both sides, to hit up the hips, the shoulders, a little bit of strength. And maybe you do it again when you have 5 minutes in the afternoon.
Ashley, thank you so much for showing me the sequence. It's really nice to feel it in my own body. I feel like I can, and with your adjustments also, I feel like I can definitely incorporate it into my routine easily. Also assuming different sides of body.
Yes.
That need to be taken care of.
It's my pleasure. I learned a lot about my body when I was pregnant. I continue to learn a lot about my body on the, postpartum journey and beyond. And all this knowledge should be shared because this intrinsic knowledge that women have about their body but might not be in tune to in our society today is hugely important for just feeling good in your body, feeling empowered in your body. And it's just so beautiful that there's so much support out there that you can provide yourself. You just have to know what that support is.
For sure. And there are also some ergonomic changes that we can make, right? Like, for example, wearing Etalon posture bra for the upper back. You mentioned in your classes, you mentioned a yoga ball, which can be very beneficial. Sit instead of a chair, sit on the yoga ball to open the hips up.
Yeah, I mean, if you're working throughout pregnancy at a desk job and your hips are getting sore, you're not feeling like that is something that you can really maintain, but you could easy fix. There's lots of easy fixes off the mat, as well as some of the postures we showed you to help you feel better in your body. But something as easy as switching out your chair for a yoga ball or an exercise ball, and then you just have this suppleness that you're always inviting into your pelvic bowl, and maybe you're not getting so stuck from just that one position that you're in all day. So lots of tips and tricks.
Lots of, for sure. We invite you to share what your experiences are in the comments, and we'll be checking and we'll be responding to those comments. So if you have any questions, please let us know. If you have any suggestions for further videos, also please let us know. It was fun doing it together. So hopefully we can do something like this again. Ashley, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom about this pregnancy journey. I feel like I learned so much from you today and throughout the course of my pregnancy. How can people find you if they want to know more about what you do and learn from your wisdom?
Well, thank you. That is an honor. I learn so much from all of my students and everyone that I come across. You learn all these tidbits from these amazing women, and it's just such a lovely community to be a part of. As I said at the beginning, Meta Mama Yoga Studio is in San Rafael. You can find us on Instagram at Meta Mama Marin. Yes, I think that's it, Meta Mama Marin.
We'll add it to the
add it, because that I could have inversed it in my head, but I'm pretty sure it's Meta Mama Marin. And then you can find us on our website, which is metayogastudio.com. And there's a Meta Mama drop down, and there's events listed and classes listed, some blogs, and hopefully, we'd love to see you guys in studio. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.